Mining.
Madam Speaker, as I rise in this honorable house today, I do so with the utmost gratitude for where we are now, for how far we've come, and for the sacrifices and the commitment that have brought us to this place. Members, we are in a season of harvest, born of years of deliberate effort, strategic decisions, and collective perseverance, with God at the forefront. We stand now at the dawn of a new era, marked by a clear vision, innovative strategies, and renewed energy. I want to thank the Lord for sustaining me and guiding me through every step of this journey. Madam Speaker, I must express my deep appreciation to Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Michael Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica, the visionary whose leadership continues to embolden this government to act with clarity, ambition, and resolve. To my cabinet colleagues, fellow parliamentarians, and above all, the people of Southwest St. Elizabeth, I extend my heartfelt thanks. Your trust, your partnership, and your belief are the fuel behind every policy advance and every milestone reached. This new chapter is as much yours as it is ours. Members from my constituency management team are here, including former Member of Parliament and Councillor Sangster and Councillor White, along with students from the Black River High School and the Newell High Schools. And I welcome Principal Roman from Black River High and Principal Ellington from the Newell High School. To my family, my heart and my everything, my wife Carida and our son Nathaniel. To be honest, it is Carida who keeps me grounded, and Nathaniel who reminds me every day that leadership demands great responsibility, but must be shaped by imagination, compassion, and love. Allow me to also acknowledge my State Minister, Minister Franklin Witter, hard-working State Minister, and Permanent Secretary Dermot Spence, and the exceptional team at the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining, and our agencies. Madam Speaker, they work tirelessly with precision and purpose, and they have helped to drive, shape, and build this new era. Most importantly, I salute our farmers, fishers, and miners who have weathered the storms with determination and grace. You rise early, you work late, plant, harvest, mine in the dust, soil, stone, cast your net, often without applause. Yet it is your hands that shapes this nation's prosperity. This new era belongs to you. Madam Speaker, members of this honorable house, and to all of those tuned in on radio, television, and social media, we have embarked on a journey of renewal across agriculture, fisheries, and mining. This is a journey built on real, tangible action, one that is restoring hope to the sectors after years of setback and transforming our rural communities and by extension, our nation. Madam Speaker, this will be remembered as a time of change, a time of prosperity, a new era of production, productivity, and development in our country. So, Madam Speaker, allow me to outline the new era of agriculture. We've been on a deliberate drive through our new phase of food strategy to create more interest in the sector. And we are seeing that the seeds are bringing forth fruit. According to the latest Jamaica Chamber of Commerce Business and Consumer Index survey, more Jamaicans are seeing agriculture as a real business opportunity. In fact, there's a shifting positive perception, with 66% of those surveyed saying that they're interested in getting involved in agriculture. We're going to build on that momentum. We're going to add more upon the resilience, growth, and recovery, which has become a hallmark of the agricultural sector. But, Madam Speaker, we have got here not by chance, but through strategic action. In fact, this government, in our 2020 manifesto, said that we would provide at least $1 billion per year in direct support to our farmers and fishers. And over the past 4 years, we have provided over $4 billion in direct support. And the impact is clear. In 2022, Madam Speaker, Jamaica recorded its highest level of domestic crop production. We reached 846,000 tons. And in 2023, which, as Minister Samuda will tell you, was the hottest and driest year ever experienced in Jamaica, we still produced 778,000 tons, our second highest ever year of production. So it's no surprise, Madam Speaker, that the Planning Institute of Jamaica has reported that this government has reduced food poverty to its lowest level ever. In 2021, food poverty was 5.8%. Members, we have cut that figure down to 2.8%, meaning 1,000 more Jamaicans are now able to consistently access safe, nutritious food for a healthy and active life. Last year we started on a good trajectory, 8% higher than the year before. But we all know what happened last year. Our farmers unfortunately went through a drought, then Hurricane Beryl, and then by November, Tropical Storm Raphael, one of the most difficult years on record. In fact, we suffered $7.7 billion loss to the agriculture and fisheries sector last year. But thankfully, we have a government who responds and responds quickly. 2 weeks after Beryl, we were out there with the farmers, accessing $1.4 billion in our disaster recovery intervention, helping over 35,000 farmers. And despite Beryl, despite Raphael, despite drought, 2024 turned out to be our fourth highest year of production. We really should commend our farmers, who are extremely resilient. And Madam Speaker, I want to highlight the poultry sector. You know, in Hurricane Beryl, we lost 300,000 birds. Nonetheless, for the first time in our history, we produced 140,000 tons of poultry, a 3.3% increase. And the good news, members, is that we are on the rebound. And you know, the good thing about this government, we have never been distracted by the noise in the market. We have always watched the sales. Yes. Our post-Beryl and post-Raphael recovery efforts have shown tangible results. And in the first quarter of 2025, domestic crop production set a new quarterly record, reaching 221,000 tons. With most crop groups recording growth, yams by 7%, cereals by 21%, vegetables by 7.3%. You know, Madam Speaker, I was reflecting. After Hurricane Ivan, it took us years to get back to where we were coming from. We had Beryl in July of last year, and we are here in January hitting new records. This is a government of performance. So, Madam Speaker, we're going to build upon that momentum, using our new Face of Food strategy to bring in a new era of transformation and resilience. And the first area that we're focusing on is mechanization, which is at the heart of this new era, especially in light of the current challenges faced by the sector, including labor shortages, changing weather patterns. It is essential that we have modern agricultural equipment. That is why, Madam Speaker and members, we'll be investing this year over $60 million towards procuring agricultural drones for spraying, seeding, and surveillance capabilities. Members, just like our man would turn to radar for a tractor, we want people to be turning to radar to get a drone that will come out into their fields and do the spraying work for them. Speaking of tractors, Madam Speaker, we will be distributing 6 high-powered tractors with implements in targeted production zones. Additionally, we're purchasing 6 walk-behind tractors equipped with plows, planters, and harvesters to assist small acreage farmers who are operating on difficult terrain. We're not stopping there. 2 onion potato hybrid harvesters, 4 walk-behind seed planters, 1 rotavator, 6 motorized soil augers for the farmers in South Trelawney so that they can go up into those terrains and prepare the land to plant the best yam in the world. We are embarking on our most intensive mechanization drive ever. This is a new era of agriculture. Members, let me put it into perspective. When we came to government, RADA had only 7 operational tractors. Since 2018, we have purchased 11 tractors and 5 backhoes. We are getting 6 new tractors in 2025. 2 have already arrived in May, and the 4 are coming in July. This will bring our tractor fleet to 22, which is more than triple what we found when we took office. But members, I don't want to believe that we're finished. Under the Hills to Ocean project, we're getting 4 new tractors. In addition, for Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, and St. Andrew. Under the AIC, we have said if you have an agro-park, the agro-park must have a tractor. So this year, we're purchasing 1 tractor for the Plantation Garden River Agro-Park in St. Thomas, 2 tractors for Parnassus in Clarendon, and I know the Member of Parliament cousins will be celebrating. And 3 tractors for Bridgepen Amity Hall in St. Catherine. Additionally, the National Irrigation Commission will be acquiring 2 backhoes, and we're looking to acquire 1 more amphibious excavator. When I say we're taking a holistic approach, Madam Speaker, we used to go around to our research centers and say that they're overrun with bushes, and said, but why the ministry not doing anything about it? Well, the ministry has purchased a D6 bulldozer that we're going to be using to clean up our research stations, to support land preparation, and to establish trial plots. This is a new era of mechanization. But we're not just doing mechanization. We are also looking to build infrastructure, because we have to ensure that we support higher yields, reduce waste, and get greater market access. But Madam Speaker, we're doing this not in talk, but in action. A clear demonstration of this commitment. We are presently constructing a 350 square meter cold storage facility in Content, Kirkville, Manchester, at a cost of $124 million. This will help 1,500 farmers. We're not stopping there. 2,635 cubic meters of cold storage will be available for farmers in that northern Manchester, South Trelawney belt, because we're doing that in Coleyville, in Manchester. We're not stopping there. We're spending $165 million to establish 6,103 square foot facility at Ebony Park in Clarendon, including 2,500 square feet of cold and chill room space. Madam Speaker, this cold room facility will be able to hold 600,000 pounds of fruits and vegetables. You might think that we're finished with storage, but we're not. Through the CARICOM New Zealand Boost Cold Storage Project, we're establishing renewable energy powered cold storage in Flagaman in Pedro Plains. And then, Madam Speaker, members, let us go to Essex Valley.
Yes.
Minister Witter, we are establishing one of the largest agricultural storage facilities in the Caribbean.
Yes.
Dedicated cold storage, ambient storage, a puree processing area, and a brine preservation station. This facility is 24,000 square feet and will be able to hold 22 containers of food. But, Madam Speaker, I want us to be clear. This will be able to hold 22 containers worth of food. But I want to make something clear, Madam Speaker, because I know we're in the season. This is not a promise to build. This is not political gimmickry. Unlike those who talk about giving the farmers storage, we are delivering, and the Prime Minister will officially launch this June of this year. The reality, Madam Speaker, as we move on, one of the critical resources that enhances lives and livelihoods in rural communities is water. Allow me. Allow me. Madam Speaker, members, allow me to update you on our flagship irrigation projects. In Essex Valley, we should be fully complete by January 2026, and that will benefit more than 3,000 people. In Essex Valley, we've already laid over 60 kilometers of pipelines. We have already rehabilitated over 30 kilometers of road. One of the major achievements of Essex Valley's members is that we're doing 4 solar photovoltaic farms. It will generate 3.1 megawatts of power, making it the Caribbean's largest agricultural-related solar farm. The pumps are en route and will be installed. And you can see the pumps are en route and will be installed this year. Southern Plains Agricultural Development Project. Southern Plains spans Amity Hall, Bridgepen, and Parnassus. Already, we've constructed 13.2 kilometers of farm roads. We've cleaned 12.9 kilometers of drain. We've laid 24 kilometers of irrigation pipes. We've built one of the largest reservoirs for agriculture. When you're driving down the highway, you just look to your left and you will see it. And when you see the blue buildings, those are valve chambers that will regulate the flow of water. We are retrofitting the Rio Crowbrook Canal system to efficiently deliver water, and we're going to be driving that through renewable energy. The other major one is what will be done this year in Southwest St. Elizabeth, the Pedro Plains Irrigation Expansion Project. Members, this project has been spoken about since the 1970s. In fact, a man recounted to me a story that Michael Manley himself came into his farm and said if he voted for him, he would take water from the Black River and irrigate the plains of Pedro. That was in the lead up to the 1972 election. Well, members, Michael Manley was not able to get it done. But I can now advise this honorable house that Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Michael Holness will break ground for the commencement of civil works on this project in July of this year. Cabinet has already approved a $23.6 billion project that will tap into the Black River surface flow and will expand irrigated production and increase productivity for 6,000 farmers across 4,000 hectares of land. We have already mapped 19,000 parcels of land. We have conducted cadastral surveys for 1,000 parcels of land. You know, one of the best parts of this project, members. You know the area of St. Elizabeth. For a long time, we haven't had titles for our land. As a part of this project, we will be generating 1,000 titles free of cost for the residents in that belt. And when we break ground, the Prime Minister will hand out 200 that day. So we are way down the wicket. But, Madam Speaker, unlike other governments that only do irrigation in certain places, we are covering a wide scope. In Yalas, we have already dug one well, and we're in the process of identifying the site for the second to irrigate 120 hectares. In Cherry, Dover, in St. Catherine, one of our largest poultry producing areas that have had challenges because of a lack of water. The NIC has already gone in. They have completed a preliminary investigation, done a preliminary design, and we will start preliminary works this year for a new water system for those poultry farmers. In Lucky Hill Pen, in St. Mary, 2 wells have been dug. One has already been developed, while the second one is awaiting testing. We're going to irrigate 91 hectares. In Portland, Lennox, Lower Layton, we're designing a new well for 95 hectares. And in Ebony Park, we are almost complete in Ebony Park, almost complete in lane pipes for additional 120 acres. Together with the PJ Plains initiative, these projects will expand irrigation to approximately 5,000 hectares. You see, Madam Speaker, between 2012 and 2016, irrigation was confined to a few select areas. But since this government took office in 2016, we have rolled out 12 major projects across 6 parishes from Portland to St. Elizabeth. This is a new era of irrigation. Madam Speaker, I want to talk about farm roads. But I've spoken about it so much that I probably should just quickly go over it. But last year we spent $870 million. Our original allocation, we did 41 farm roads. In our secondary allocation, which was based on emergency, we did an additional 53 farm roads, including 9 in the coffee belt. This year, we have earmarked $900 million for our farm road program. And I'll show you the difference with how we're managing. We're going to be doing more substantial programs. So we are looking to ensure that wherever we do a road, the appropriate drainage is put in and it can stand up for a long time. So we're looking to do 60 roads this year. But a difference as well. We're not just spending the whole $900 million on new roads. We have earmarked $45 million to help us maintain roads that have already been done. You know, Madam Speaker, I must be honest. Every time I hear the other side speak about farm roads, I shake my head. Because what they did in 4 years, we now do in 4 months. This is a new era of rural connectivity. When I go across the length and breadth of Jamaica, I hear persons asking about access to land. I have tasked the SCJ to accelerate the pace of divestment to get lands in the hands of people who want to farm. Last year, 6,338 acres were leased across St. Catherine, Clarendon, St. Thomas, Trelawney, and Westmoreland for cash crop farming, horticulture, aquaculture, livestock rearing, and grass cultivation. We also regularized 34 farmers in Long Pond and 13 farmers on 82 acres in St. Catherine. Madam Speaker, the other thing that people may not know is that we have been bringing land back into agriculture. So we have signed a MOU with the NHT. And we have said to the NHT, lands that you are not utilizing, that are good agricultural land, give us back so we can give farmers. Under that MOU, we have gotten land in Dundee, Trelawney, Parbuckle Wharf in Hanover, and Dundee is 300 acres, Hanover is 119 acres, Alligator Pond, 30 acres, Unity in St. Mary, 698 acres. The other thing that we have done, Madam Speaker, we have gone to the NLA and we have said where we see lands that are government owned, that are being occupied by farmers, let us manage it. Under that project, we have gotten Harmony Hall in St. Anne, 1,600 acres, and we have already regularized 55 farmers who now have leases to work on that land. We have also gotten some land in Portland, New Pen in St. Mary, 850 acres. We have received about 3,000 acres under these programs. But we're also expanding our agri-parks. You would have seen that we would have opened the Parnassus Agri-Park in southwest Clarendon, 570 acres. And, Madam Speaker, we didn't just open it. People have started to work that land. We have already leased 70 acres to youth. We've leased 100 acres to women. We've allocated, and MP Cousins will appreciate this, we've allocated 159 acres to 23 farmers who previously occupied the land. They now have leases, tenureship, so that they can do what they love. 210 acres have gone to new investors.
So you don't get gender fisheries, you're nice.
In fact, Madam Speaker, this is just one of our new agri-parks. In St. Anne, the Jamaica Bauxite Mining Limited have partnered with the Agro-Invest Corporation, and we are establishing a new agri-park in Litford, St. Anne, which will be 670 acres. This agri-park will be served as a model for sustainable agribusiness, employing climate-smart practices, as well as medium and small farmers. Madam Speaker, we are committed to fostering youth involvement in our agri-parks. And as Minister, I had passed a policy to say 25% of our leased land must be earmarked for youth engagement. Members, I am here to advise you that we have surpassed that target. Yes. And now 29% of our leased land are to youth and women in our agri-parks. But I'm going to go further, Madam Speaker. You see, this is a government that listens. This is a government that listens, members. Despite surpassing our target, when I am out in the field, I hear some youth saying that the requirements for the agri-parks, for them, are still too high. In fact, when we opened Parnassus, Trishana went up to the Prime Minister and expressed her frustration as a past student of case that she could not fulfill the requirements to get onto the agri-parks. At that time, I said that we would fix it. In this regard, I'm happy to announce our agri-park youth startup program. Under this new initiative, youth lease rates for our new agri-parks will be cut in half for the first 2 years of operation. Additionally, regular persons have to show 70% of their capital investment. For youth under this program, they will only be called upon to show 35% of the capital investment to be able to start. But it gets better. For the first year of operation, we will provide the youth under this program with free land preparation for up to 2 acres. And we will give them free seeds for up to 2 acres on the first year of this. We are embarking on a new era of youth in agriculture. Madam Speaker, one of the things that we have earmarked as a ministry is that we want to ensure that every parish has an agri-park. We've identified some property in St. James. We're looking to identify some property in Hanover. We have set ourselves a target that over the next 5 years, every parish should have an agri-park. Madam Speaker, let me go to prayer there lastly. You plant it, you water it, you wait, and then someone else reaps it. This is both discouraging and expensive. Madam Speaker, we have been moving to strengthen our fight against predatory larceny with the introduction of agricultural wardens. I'm pleased to report that 243 candidates have already successfully completed their written exams, physical assessments, background checks, and fingerprint. They are now awaiting medical exams and polygraph and training. We will welcome our first agricultural wardens this year. Madam Speaker, we've been lobbying the JCF for a long time for a specialized response team to deal with predatory larceny. We started this journey with the JCF establishing predatory larceny units, and I want to commend former Commissioner Anderson. But Commissioner Blake has taken a bigger step forward. Madam Speaker and members, I am pleased to report that the JCF now has established an agricultural protection branch. This will be headed by Assistant Commissioner of Police with a clear mission to enforce laws, regulations governing agriculture, to develop strategies to prevent and investigate agriculture-related crimes, and to safeguard the livelihood of our farmers. The branch will be staffed with a senior superintendent, a superintendent in charge of special investigations, an agricultural wardens division, and a drones unit, which will provide surveillance support in the fight against predatory larceny. This is a new era in the fight against predatory larceny. Additionally, Cabinet has approved amendments to the Predatory Larceny Prevention Act, and we do expect that these amendments and changes will be tabled, if not today, Madam Speaker, they will be tabled tomorrow. And these will ensure harsher penalties, enhanced traceability, expanded deployment of agricultural wardens. Again, Madam Speaker, this is something that has been promised for decades. And this government is getting it done. But members, I don't want you to think when we say we're just fighting predatory larceny, it's just in talk. I want to share some numbers with you. In 2023, we recorded 78 arrests for predatory larceny. Last year, we recorded 139, an 88% increase. Madam Speaker, there are 201 cases before the court, up from 138 in 2023. Additionally, in 2023, we launched 107 Farm Watch. Last year, we launched 285 Farm Watch groups. And this is the one I like. We have said to the police members, if you catch somebody in the act of predatory larceny, don't make them leave with the motor vehicle. In 2023, we seized 8 motor vehicles. Last year, we seized 28 motor vehicles, a 250% increase. Madam Speaker, the new era of agriculture is based around research and development. This is something that we don't talk about enough. But if we're going to treat with climate change, if we're going to ensure productivity, then we have to pull together all our entities, Banana Board, Coconut Industry Board, Plant Quarantine, the Research and Development Branch, to look at new varieties that are ideal for this change in time. I'm pleased to announce that we've done a lot of work, and this year the Banana Board will be introducing 3 new varieties of banana. All highly productive varieties and highly tolerant to the TR4 disease. We're also introducing the Hass variety of avocado. We have to look at what is happening in world trade. We've already started a pilot on that. We've done some work with our sweet potato varieties, and we're going to be introducing 2 local sweet potato varieties which have been cleaned of virus. Additionally, Madam Speaker and members, we have to treat with disease. This is our new reality. We saw yam rust in 2024, and you all know that yam is our prized possession. In fact, our #1 export is yellow yam, and we want our white yam to also have that same pride of place. As such, what we've done, we've put in place a yam rust disease management program, dispatch RADA, R&D, plant quarantine. We put $32 million, Madam Speaker, to areas in Trelawney, Clarendon, Manchester, and St. Anne, and we're seeing positive returns. This year, we're going to enhance that with an additional sum of $35 million. You know, the other thing that we're doing is infusing technology in what we do. For those of you who are agriculturalists, you know the fruit fly. One of the things that really holds back our agricultural sector. And if you understand how plant quarantine operated, they had a manual process where literally they would put a sticky pad and they would go back and literally count the flies and make a recording. For the first time in the Caribbean, we have spent $40 million and we've put in smart fruit fly traps that use the technology that automatically reports when they pick up an insect. That is the sort of work we're doing in R&D. Additionally, we are going to be establishing some pest-free agricultural areas, especially for sweet potato and pepper. We have earmarked to establish 1 pest-free area for sweet potato, 1 area with low pest prevalence for hot pepper, so that we can do a better job of tapping into our foreign markets. We're also working with the International Atomic Energy Agency to bring in the sterile insect technique to treat with our fruit flies once and for all. And we're working with our Veterinary Services Division, and we have a new chief vet, Dr. Ramlal, who is in the house today. And we are going to be launching a new screwworm eradication program for sterile flies to counter the spread of screwworm in the country. The reality, Madam Speaker, we are taking a holistic approach. And I say to members now, there is a lot more in the booklet. We could speak about soil and what we're doing in that regard. I should tell you that we'll be opening next month a new seed and nursery certification unit to ensure that our seeds are certified and of the highest quality. We have a seed bank at Bodles, a seed processing facility, and this year we are implementing a gene bank to ensure that we capture our local varieties. But, Madam Speaker, I want to take us to a little bit about incentives and financing. The most Honorable Prime Minister made some exciting announcements in his budget presentation. So, if you did not hear, it comes to me to repeat.
They were not here.
We are removing general consumption tax on seeds so that it will be cheaper for our farmers to afford their inputs. Additionally, we are expanding the 20% motor vehicle concession. It used to just be for pickups. But farming has changed. Our farmers now want panel vans. They want small refrigerated trucks. We are saying the 20% concession now applies to panel vans and small refrigerated trucks. But we never stop there. Because we understand costs. And it used to be that you couldn't bring in a vehicle older than 10 years. Under this new incentive regime, you can bring in a vehicle up to 15 years old under the 20% duty concession. And the one that I love, members, you know, for all these years, fish farmers, those who do aquaculture, they would qualify for the concession. But a marine fisher doctor done in your constituency could not get the 20% concession. This government has said that the 20% duty concession will now be valid for our marine fishers for the first time in our country. Madam Speaker, financing continues to be a major issue. The government of Jamaica has provided $2 billion to the Development Bank of Jamaica to finance micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises. A portion of these funds have been specifically earmarked for agriculture. We are now in discussions with the DBJ to finalize an MOU with the Agri-Invest Corporation, which we are looking to reintroduce direct lending to farmers and agri-entrepreneurs. Madam Speaker, what has happened is that even when the DBJ provides the resources, when they go through the approved financial institutions, by the time it reaches to the farmers, the interest is so high that it proves prohibitive. We're establishing a model that we can lend directly to the farmers. Additionally, we've signed an MOU between the DBJ, RADA, and the Jamaica Agricultural Society, where we are preparing our farmers to access these loans. It's a loan-ready training program where we're targeting 450 agricultural stakeholders. Additionally, we have the Credit Enhancement Facility, $30 million for farmers. They can get up to $30 million without traditional collateral. Let me say that again. Under the DBJ, we have a Credit Enhancement Facility where farmers can get up to $30 million without traditional collateral. We also have a poultry loan product where the DBJ has $1 billion to lend to contract farmers or cooperatives around poultry. Recently, our strawberry cluster received $43 million to set up new state-of-the-art greenhouses so that we can regulate the climate and grow strawberries almost in every part of Jamaica. I'm also pleased to announce that the DBJ, in partnership with the IDB and the European Union and NCU, will launch a new initiative. The program will support 25 agricultural stakeholders. Allow me to also announce a special line of credit from the French Developmental Agency, where the DBJ will administer US $5 million to support at least 25% of which will go towards agriculture. Members, we are putting more capital into the hands of our farmers. We're also embarking on an Agri-Invest Forum. The truth is, the new era of agriculture has to attract high-value investment. Yes. Our Agri-Invest Forum will be held in September 2025, and it will highlight investment-ready agribusiness opportunities. In fact, members, you are invited. We will formally launch the Agribusiness Forum this evening at 5:30 at Serengeti. Since we're speaking about investment, let me just commend two companies. The Caribbean Broilers Group would have invested $15 billion in agriculture in the nest. The Caribbean's first air-chilled poultry processing plant. And this last one before time. No, let me take this one after time.
House Leader, the member's time for speaking. Member's time for speaking has expired, House Leader.
Madam Speaker, I must say that is a very impressive presentation. And therefore, Madam Speaker, the member's time has expired. The member's time has expired, and we are asking for 20 minutes to complete the presentation. Always.
Members.
Sufficient. 20 is fine. 20 and I'll take the additional. That's fine.
Members, the question is that the member be allowed 25 minutes to complete his presentation. Those in favor? Those against, the ayes have it, Minister.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, members. Madam Speaker, it is good to start off on this note. We're pleased to welcome another major investment, the Tropical Sugar Company Limited. These investors will be leading the restoration of sugar in South Clarendon. Madam Speaker, they are investing an initial investment of US $50 million. Madam Speaker, they have already leased 12,500 acres of land, with 27 acres dedicated to the construction of a new sugar factory and refinery. This is a significant step to bring the much-needed revitalization of the sugar industry. But Madam Speaker, let me put things in perspective. This is not something that is going to happen next year or the year after next. We are breaking ground for this in July of this year. This is a new era for sugar. Madam Speaker, I will try to move quickly, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, in the last sectoral we spoke about the AMC complex. I'm pleased to announce that Cabinet has approved the divestment of the AMC complex by way of a public-private partnership. This partnership, AgriInvest, intends to co-develop the AMC complex, transforming it into a hub for warehousing, cold storage, and agri-processing. It will remain in agriculture, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, it is hard to speak about financing and not speak about de-risking. We've worked very hard with the GK group for them to develop the GK Weather Protect parametric insurance scheme. Some farmers are benefiting. In fact, last year, 387 farmers benefited by payouts from the Weather Protect insurance. But we want more farmers to benefit. I'm pleased to announce that this year we will be providing support for 5,000 farmers to sign up for the GKI Weather Protect insurance scheme. We're going to target the disaster-prone areas. Another thing, members, and I want you to hear this one. Another thing that we are working on. Member Montague, you and I know a lot of farmers work hard. And then when they decide to stop their farming, they don't have anything to fall back on. Unfortunately, some farmers keep going, even though they are not so strong, because they're afraid if they stop, they don't have anything to fall back on. Members, I'm pleased to announce that the Ministry of Agriculture has started the process of designing a farmer's pension scheme. We will be advocating for $1 billion to seed that fund so that our farmers can put out a little thing. So just like every other profession, they can retire, cock up them foot, and have a pension. Madam Speaker, the Prime Minister has said that we have to transform our ecosystem, and we're doing that. We are looking at long-term supply contracts, and we've already engaged the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association about it. The JHTA has committed to working with us to provide the ministry with critical data on demand volumes, purchasing patterns, pricing. At the ministry level, we've started clustering our farmers so that they can better serve the supply needs of the hotel sector. The truth is, members, no one will make any significant investment in agriculture if hotels only issue 3-month contracts. We are going to be putting an end to that. We have to ensure that we have a stable, structured, and fertile market. Additionally, this year, we are going to start at the ministry a public recognition, an award for hotels who have at least 90% of their fresh produce being supplied locally. Members, there are a lot of plans, a lot of policies. I won't go through all of them. But just to say, we're working on a 10-year National Agricultural Development Plan. And to be honest, this is something the Prime Minister has directed. When Member Cousins was the opposition spokesperson, when we used to have good contribution, he spoke about the Agricultural Development Plan that is in the works. Additionally, we're doing a national youth policy on agriculture. But the one I want to mention, Madam Speaker and members, we are developing, Madam Speaker, we are developing a national organic agricultural policy. This national organic agricultural policy will serve as the roadmap to unlock Jamaica's potential in this expanding global market. It will provide legal and regulatory framework, institutional framework for organic certification to ensure that it is credible, accessible, and aligned. We are going to enhance market access for certified organic products, both locally and internationally. We want to position Jamaica as the leader in sustainable and organic production. We believe we can maximize our returns on investment. We're also working on a national food reserve strategy, and you will hear more about that one. Madam Speaker, we've always been working with our youth. And to be honest, I want to take this chance to really shout out to our young people who are active on social media promoting their agricultural enterprise. You might not know, but Jamaica has the lowest average age of farmers in the region. Our average age is 48.7% compared to the global average of 60%. 60, global average of 60. More young people are getting involved, but we're going to do more to get even more. We're expanding the school garden program. And I've already said that them we're committing an additional 20 million. But the one I want to announce today, we are launching a new Face of Food scholarship program. You know what happens, Madam Speaker and members? the young people in high school who are good in agricultural science, they don't end up in agriculture. We are changing that. We will be providing full tertiary scholarships for the top male and female student in each parish at the CSEC level. Additionally, we are reserving 4 spots in addition to the top male and female, 4 for people who want to do agricultural education. We will fund your tertiary education. Madam Speaker, we launched, our REAP program has been going well. We're going to expand it. We're looking to double it with the help of the Heart Trust. We launched our REAP National Agri Business Competition last year. Went very well. You will hear more about that. I want to give you 2 more new programs. We know we need more boots on the ground. And as such, we're going to be introducing an agricultural extension service assistant. What we're looking to do are hire young people, especially those coming directly out of high school who are interested in agriculture, put them to work with the extension officer so they get the training, they get the certification, and we get more boots on the ground. In the lead up to this sectoral presentation, I did 2 things. I had a TikTok live, Madam Speaker, where we had about 9,000 viewers. Where they suggested, they gave us a number of suggestions. But we also, members, we also went to CASE. And we held a think tank at CASE. And some of the students are here. And I really want to thank them for participating. It was exam time and they came out. And this is why you must consult your students. Yes. Out of that think tank, we have pulled forward a program that was presented by the students. I'm proud to unveil that we're going to be embarking on the Graduate Recruitment Internship and Training Program, a new bold initiative designed to recruit, train, mentor, and place graduates for a minimum of 1 year. What the young people said, they finished CASE, they want a job, and they're saying, where's the experience? We are going to be working with the Heart Trust to place these students in agricultural-based businesses for 1 year, pay them so that they get the experience. This program will start at the end of the academic year. Madam Speaker, I can't go through the fruit tree, I can't go through our vertical farming. I will come back to some of these things. But just to say, for our backyard gardening program, which has gone very well. The first year I did the backyard gardening program, we did 2,000, it was oversubscribed. Second year, we did 3,000, it was oversubscribed. This year, we will be doing 5,000 backyard gardening kits, targeting our urban centers. We also appreciate that the cost of input is one of the challenges facing the sector. High cost of inputs, fertilizers, seeds, and chemicals. What we're going to be doing, Madam Speaker and members, we're going to get active in the space. So we're working with the Jamaica Agricultural Society to increase the number of farm stores that they have across the island. We are going to work with the JAS so that we can provide a wide array of inputs at discounted prices. We're going to use that to bring down the cost of inputs. We're starting with 2 next year, but the idea is that we will do 2 each year for the next 5 years. We want every parish to have a JAS farm store that is supported by government, that you can get cheaper costs of inputs. I couldn't leave without saying that our members of parliament are very important.
Yes, we are.
In expanding our reach and to drive greater production and productivity. We will be enlisting the support of our members of parliament to help drive our production and productivity program. MPs, you can look out for your letters. Yes. We have already earmarked $60 million that we will be working with the MPs to identify beneficiaries so that we can drive production. Madam Speaker, let me now turn to our fisheries sector. Despite our challenges with the weather, our fisheries sector grew by 5.2% last year. And I think the NFA and our MPs who run strong programs of identified beneficiaries, I think both of you should be congratulated for the growth. Madam Speaker, we are securing the future of fisheries. We gazetted 2 new sanctuaries last year, Grange Pen Fish Sanctuary and the Lucy Fish Sanctuary, bringing our total to 20 protected areas. In fact, Madam Speaker, last week we entered into a memorandum of understanding with the Iberostar Group and the Grange Pen Fishing Association. These are really model public-private partnerships. And I really want to mention the Aracabessa Sanctuary, who has been working with fishers to organize themselves. Madam Speaker, we now safeguard 11,000 hectares of critical marine habitat, and we're moving towards our target of 20,000 hectares. I said last year, members, that we want the sanctuaries to be financially sustainable. I'm pleased to announce that in Galleon, in St. Elizabeth, we have trained 20 fishermen and women, and there are now ecotourism tour guides. We provided them with kayaks, a floating jetty, a mobile office, and a patrol vessel. So they now have a Galleon Fish Sanctuary eco-tour. And I'm inviting members to come to Galleon and see the new era of our fish sanctuaries. Madam Speaker, you might not know, members, our fishers can now stay in the comfort of their homes and register for their fishing license. All of this is a computer-based system. Since we have introduced that, members, we have seen a 53% increase in renewals. This system is working. For the first time in our history, we have deployed fish aggregating devices. These are devices that attract pelagic species, so that when you go out to fish, you don't have to guess and spell where the fish are. You go directly to the fish aggregating device. The fishers in St. Mary are doing extremely well. In fact, we have deployed 9 of them across the island. And the fishers are now catching tuna, mahi-mahi, kingfish, swordfish, and some deep snapper. Additionally, Madam Speaker, we are cultivating sea moss. I don't know if you know, but just like how you farm scallion, we are farming sea moss over there in St. Anne. White River, yes, the same thing you call Irish mush. We already have 200 growth plants. Discovery Bay, White River, and Aracabessa. We are also farming oysters. We're farming oysters in Russia. We're also farming oysters down in Hanover. And we have done floating docks and containerized solutions for that. Our tilapia hatchery is about 80% complete. We are in fact working on trying to ensure that we can produce our own fish feed, because fish feed accounts for 50 to 70% of the input costs. So we've started research. We've brought in an extruder and a pulverizer. We're training some fishers in mill operations to see if we can design our own locally made fish feed. Madam Speaker, moving forward for fisheries, there are a couple of things on the horizon. as we chart the new era of fisheries. We're doing a new model 200-acre aquaculture park at Mitchelltown that will serve as the Caribbean Aquaculture Center. We're going to be training the rest of the region right here in Jamaica in aquaculture. At Tollgate, we have a 330-acre facility. We're going to rehabilitate that and put that into production and research activities. The NFA will move to establish offices, and this is important. The NFA will move to establish offices in parishes where we do not have any. So St. Anne, Minister Samood has discussed this with me, and Trelawney, we will be doing a National Fisheries Authority office in your parish. We're also going to be transforming 3 offices into regional centers: Montego Bay, Black River, and Pagy. We're also going to be establishing fuel depots in Port Antonio and Falmouth. We started a program last year where we did 20 boats and engine. We're doing 20 more this year. But the final thing I want to share in relation to fisheries. Madam Speaker, with the strengthened management of our fisheries sector and our significantly expanded oversight of the NFA, our staff complement has increased substantially, and we have more boots on the ground to support enforcement and compliance. It is critical that we uphold the prohibition on fishing of lobster during their reproductive season, and it's equally important that buried lobsters are returned to the sea. However, as more fishers see greater yields, we see that more fishers are unable to sell all of their catch during the open season. That has led to a glut in the market. In response to this, Madam Speaker, I will be introducing to the House the fisheries spiny lobster regulations. These regulations will allow for us to pilot the removal of restrictions on the purchase, sale, consumption, and general possession of legally fished spiny lobster during the close season. What does this mean? Madam Speaker, what this means, as you know now, we are in the close season for lobster. So you are not able to legally go out and purchase lobster, even if it was legally fished. We are going to remove that prohibition. Once you would have fished it during the open season, you can sell it all year round. So you will be able to get lobster right around the clock. We are piloting it now. We want to start in June. We will do an assessment after the pilot. If we see that there's an increase in illegal fishing, we're going back to the old regime. But we believe that as a small island that has sustainable manage its fisheries resources, you should be able to consume lobster right around the clock. Let me go to mining. And as I complete mining, it is Minerals Week, Madam Speaker. So I will ask for a little additional time, seeing that it is Minerals Week. And we wouldn't want to cut such an important part. Maybe 7 minutes when I get to the end. The world has faced its fair share of uncertainty over the past few months, and that has been felt across the global mining industry. Thankfully, thus far, the outlook augurs well for Jamaica. We can take advantage of some of the uncertainty, and as such, this new era of mining is about growth and diversification. Madam Speaker, bauxite mining is still very important to us. We saw a 4% increase last year compared to 2023. In fact, on the revenue side, we collected $623 million in royalties, which amounted to a 59% increase. Our companies are still holding strain. Yuaton, they would have constructed a second effluent holding pond, and that has significantly improved their environmental stewardship. We have not had any recent reported environmental breaches, and we want Yuaton to keep it that way. Jamalco, despite the power room fire a few years ago, they are now back on the rise. I met with the executive vice president of Century, and they have a plan to move their alumina production from its current amount to 1.4 million tons over the next 3 years. That would significantly increase our bauxite revenue. In relation to GISCO, Minister Witter and I would have met with the leaders of the GISCO plant 2 months ago. We would have wanted GISCO Alpha to have already be open. But thankfully, we are now seeing positive signs. The company recently employed over 300 local persons to conduct an asset audit exercise. And they have said to us that they are going to start work on the reopening of the plant in December of this year. That will be a major boost to the economy and the economy of St. Elizabeth. Limestone, Madam Speaker, continues to do well, and we continue to see growth. Our Bauxite Community Development Fund, which is very important to a number of members of Parliament, over Phase 7, we did over 100 projects and spent over $200 million across Manchester, Clarendon, St. Elizabeth, St. Catherine, and St. Anne. In fact, 35 major infrastructure projects, including the Alexandria Hospital and the Black River Hospital. We supported poultry farmers. We supported education. We supported roads. In fact, we have been working with our greenhouse clusters, as members should know. One of the big things that the Jamaica Bauxite Institute does is that we take former mined lands, put greenhouse clusters on it so that agriculture can strive. 75% of our greenhouse clusters that were damaged by burial are now back in production. Madam Speaker, today in this House, the bauxite levy will come, and that will finance the next phase of the BCDP. Without saying much, just to say to the members of Parliament who look forward to some outturn out of that, we are going to be increasing your allocation. I will speak more on that. But we have earmarked 100 million. We have earmarked 100 million to improve water supply, 100 million for infrastructure development, 70 million for education. We're already working with a water supply project under Operation Pipe Water that I announced last year to bring 440 households, 2,000 residents water, and that is in southern Manchester. Our Jamaica Bauxite Mining Company continues to lead transformation and port development. In fact, our port development and expansion project at the Reynolds Pier is already underway. All right, Ms. Donna. We have very active exploration going on. In fact, you know, Reynolds Pier really should be commended. Because as the Member of Parliament for North East St. Anne will attest, when the cruise ship pier suffered its damage, if there was nowhere else to go, it would have been a disaster for Ocherius. The Reynolds Pier accommodated 122 cruise ships last year, and they really should be congratulated. I'm almost there. Last year we launched a new scholarship, $7 million. This year we're putting $10 million towards it to expand. We have 14 persons who received it last year. Very, very good Hoylett Lambert Scholarship. We're going to keep that going. We're working on industrial minerals policy. 2 areas that I think I should highlight, Madam Speaker. Over the last 6 years, Geophysics Jamaica Limited, a Jamaica-owned private mineral exploration company, has been engaged in an intensive nationwide greenfield exploration program. The company has undertaken high-quality early-stage exploration, geochemical sampling, geological mapping, industry-leading airborne geophysical surveys targeting elements such as gold and copper. Geophysics has now entered into an agreement with Barrick Gold. Barrick Gold operates the largest gold mine in this hemisphere in the Dominican Republic. This partnership will facilitate more advanced, detailed exploration. We are going to see diversification of our mineral sector. In relation to copper, C3 metals have operated in Jamaica for decades. They entered into an arrangement, Madam Speaker, with Freeport-McMoran, the largest copper mining company in the world. Under the agreement, over the next 5 years, Freeport-McMoran will be spending $3.9 billion Jamaican dollars to further exploration for copper. We are seeing the diversification of our mining sector. Madam Speaker, I know the time is spent, so I will save the export expansion. Safe to say that we have a new trade portal, that we have gotten into some new markets, and that we have launched our export clinics so that we can ensure that we are maximizing our potential. There's one export program that I must mention. We're going to implement this year, Madam Speaker, an export incentive program aimed at supporting large volume exporters, new exporters, small and medium scale exporting farmers and agri-processors. Under this initiative, beneficiaries will receive amnesty waivers on costs associated with phytosanitary certificates. We're looking to drive exports. As I close, Madam Speaker, I must say a little bit about the opposition.
Of course.
Yes. Cousins, listen now. Always listen now. You stir about hornets.
They have nothing left to do.
Madam Speaker and members, I am now convinced that the present opposition has no regard for agriculture and fisheries. In fact, Madam Speaker, the approach that they have taken is quite disrespectful to the hard-working farmers and fishers of Jamaica.
Yes.
This is not the Roger Clark or Michael Manley opposition.
No.
This opposition seems foreign.
Yes.
They have not even found it appropriate to have a sitting member of the House shadow agriculture. Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, I have searched our history. I have searched our history, and I am yet to find a time in Jamaica before this one that no one on the opposition benches is specifically tasked to deal with agriculture. It is a shame. You know what the result is, Madam Speaker? 2 years in a row. I want you to listen to me. 2 years in a row. We have had no questions. We have had no questions during the Standing Finance Committee. And members, to add insult to injury. This year, they asked the spokesperson on energy, a man who represents East Kingston and Port Royal, to speak on behalf of our farmers. What he delivered. What he delivered. What he delivered, members, can only be described as a chat GPT dissertation around the common problems in agriculture and fisheries. It was disgraceful. Yes. But what is more frightening? Allow me, members. What is more frightening is not what they say. What is more frightening is what they have done. Madam Speaker, they oversaw no significant investment in irrigation in their 22 years. You know, Madam Speaker, I researched and I looked to see what was their significant irrigation investment. You know what I saw? They spent between 1998 and 2015 developing the National Irrigation Plan, and they never implemented one project. Everything for them is in the pipeline. They are the pipeline national party. But that is not the worst. Under their watch, our research infrastructure deteriorated beyond the point of recognition. Bodles, Hounslow, Montpelier, every single one fell into disrepair. Research and development fell to an all-time low. But it doesn't stop there. Members, allow me. I'm short of time. It doesn't stop there. When
A point of order. Madam Speaker, a point of order. Earlier, the Speaker announced that the members' time will be extended by 25 minutes. It is now 30 minutes. And as the Speaker, you cannot conduct this House in this way.
2 minutes, 2 minutes.
That is not necessary, Minister. Minister, please continue and conclude your presentation.
Thank you. Madam Speaker, let us not forget. It is the opposition, while in power, who decimated the PC Bank, undermined the core principles, couldn't account for 21% of the members' funds, had a high percentage of non-performing loans, were cited for breach of fiduciary duties, conflict of interest, turned the bank from an agricultural-based institution to a friend and company operation. Madam Speaker, they love to talk about imports, but I understand why. They are the barons of import. In the 4 years that they were government between 2012 and 2016, they facilitated the importation of 1,258 containers of onions. Since in our last 4 years, to put it into perspective, we imported 659 containers. They almost double what we do when they were there. The other thing, they sat idly by and watched our fisheries sector grind to a halt without putting in one measure to help build back our fish population. The truth is, their stewardship, Madam Speaker, was disgraceful and shameful. What they now do, they now regurgitate things that we are doing and present them like they are new. They try to repeat the things over and over in the hope that people will buy into their promises. I have always said, Madam Speaker, those who say they can get something done should not stop those who are getting something done. This government is moving forward. This government is getting the job done. As I have shown in this presentation, from equipment to irrigation, to predatory larceny, to storage, to our fisheries incentive program, to mining, we are moving forward in a new era. Just for completeness, Madam Speaker, just for completeness, this government has turned around the PC Bank. Under the Ministry of Industry, it has reduced its bad debts, it has right-sized its operations, and it is now developing a revolving loan scheme for our fishers. Madam Speaker, to be honest, not even Roger Clark would want to see this present PMP on the hands of agriculture. So, Madam Speaker, we stand on the dawn of a new era for agriculture, fisheries and mining. For decades, we have faced persistent challenges, from low productivity and poor infrastructure to limited market access, vulnerability to climate shocks, but we did not remain idle. Now is the time to go beyond solving problems. We must lead a full transformation. We are building sectors that are climate resilient, market-driven, youth-friendly, and technology-enabled. We are moving toward productive surplus, value addition, export readiness, long-term national development. Members, let us step boldly into this new era of fisheries, mining, and agriculture. The seeds have been planted. The path is clear. We will usher Jamaica into a new era of prosperity because above all things, we choose Jamaica. God bless you. God bless Jamaica land. We love you.
That was a live broadcast of the Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining, Floyd Green's sectoral presentation. This was brought to you by the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining.
Yo, genius, me just get the Burger King Double King combo. One original.